that 70s Heron pressed on. Teflon.
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Nickel City Crew. You can also find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. I'm thankful you're choosing us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. This episode is presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud. All right, let's get straight to it. When I was growing up, my mother always taught my brother and I a truism that I'm sure extends out to multiple people in the minority communities, whether they are black, brown, or otherwise, any type of minority. My mother always used to teach us that you cannot be as good as your peers or the other white students, but you would have to be better in order to gain recognition, in order to gain respect, in order to gain something that you were hoping to achieve. It's sad, but it is a truism. My mother always taught us that. You can't be as good as your classmates. You're going to have to be better than your classmates in order to get somewhere, in order to gain an advantage, because the system, quite frankly, is rigged to a certain extent against you. It's built for you not to be as successful as your peers. So in order to be viewed in the eyes of the people that make decisions as equal, you're going to have to exceed expectations. I feel like Brian Flores felt the same way when he received that text message from Bill Belichick. I know we can all make jokes about it. I know we can all laugh at it. It's really not anything about being old. Every single person has always had some type of experience, at least once, with sending the wrong text message to the wrong person. We've all experienced it. You do it on accident. It's a slip of a finger. It's something that you weren't quite paying attention to. It might have been in your recent contacts, or in this case, two Brians. Regardless of the jokes and regardless of how Brian Flores received the information that he was going on a sham interview, the fact still remains the same. It's the same truism that I was raised on by my mother and my parents, was that you've got to be better. You're not going to get an equal shot as a black person, as a brown person. So because of that fact, because we already know the way that the deck is stacked, you will need to be better. You both can't have the same grade point average. You'll have to have a higher grade point average. You'll need to excel. You'll need to go above and beyond. It's sad, but because of the fact that it is a truism, I feel that Brian Flores felt the same way. I'm sure he was humiliated. They've talked about it ad nauseum. I feel he was probably embarrassed by the entire situation. I don't know really what to say other than the fact that I am tired. I'm tired of this conversation. I'm tired of the rhetoric. Because at the end of it, it comes a point where either you feel that black and brown people are not as smart and capable as white people, or you don't. It's a situation where you feel either we can't hack it, we're not equals, or we are. Mentally, the capacity to lead, the ability to lead. I want to tell you about the NFL. Does everybody remember Little Rascals? Cool movie, innocent movie. They started the movie with a pledge. The young kids, the young boys specifically, going into their clubhouse, and they were getting ready for their first meeting. And they said this, and I was wondering if everybody remembered it, but hopefully everybody does. If you don't, here it is.
Raise your right hand. Your other right hand. I, Stymie, member in good standing of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, do solemnly swear to be a He-Man and hate women and not play with them or talk to them unless I have to, and especially never fall in love. And if I do, may I die slowly and painfully and suffer for hours or until I scream bloody murder.
Now, it's a cool movie. It's cute. That's the NFL. Bills fans. That's the NFL. NFL fans. This is your NFL. Not only are they the He-Man Woman Haters Club, they also don't like minorities. They also don't like women. This is their club. This is the good old boys club. This is their fraternity. 31 owners. We all know the Packers are wholly owned. I think they're a publicly traded company or something like that, or they've got shareholders and all this other stuff, but the shareholders can't make money off the team, or I don't know how it all works. I know there's 31 other owners in the National Football League. And they subscribe to this. Now, this is innocent. It's Little Rascals. It's a cool movie. It's a classic, a kid's classic. But the principles are the same. The principles actually ring true. This is our club. We'll let in who we want to let in. We will not be bullied. We will not be told what to do. And this is our club. The National Football League. And what they do is, because they are billionaires, because they live on a level economically, financially, socially, they live on a level where they don't have to answer to anyone. And when they don't have to answer to anyone, you get a level of impenetrable, like you're bulletproof. What can stop us? Now, I'll lead to a couple things that can stop the NFL, as big of a behemoth as it is. But because of the fact that they do run the league, they are America's pastime now, officially. Baseball has been phased out. This is America's pastime. We love football in the United States of America. We love it. Because we love it so much, they have recognized that, and they have now weaponized it to really run whatever agendas that they want to run. Now, I'm complicit. I'm a Buffalo Bills fanatic. I love the team. I follow the team. Obviously, I started a podcast because of how much I love the team, and they are part of this league. Here is what the NFL has decided to do in response. Now, within 1 hour, I think it was even shorter than that. It might have even been within the first half hour of Brian Flores' lawsuit, which did obviously come on the first day of Black History Month, and it was not a mistake. His lawyers even spoke to it, that it was not lost on Brian Flores what he was doing when he was doing it. This is what the NFL had to say in a response, is that the claims were, quote, without merit. Now, I don't need to go into and preach to you all about how stupid that sounds because of the fact that you have a Rooney Rule in place to specifically strong arm, incentivize your 32 owners to hire black and brown people because they weren't hiring black and brown people. So because of that, they instituted the Rooney Rule in 2003. And this is what the NFL has to say in respects to their shield, their own personal shield. Roger Goodell, when he was speaking at the Super Bowl press conference earlier this week.
When we look at the league office, of the top 11 executives there are only 2 people of color. When we look at NFL Media Group, where I work, there is not one black person at the senior level in the newsroom who makes decisions about a league whose player population is 70% black. So as a member of the media group and as a black man, I ask, why does the NFL and its owners have such a difficult time at the highest levels hiring black people into decision-making positions?
Yeah, Jim, listen, we look at the same numbers, and they're really part of the effort that, again, looking at how do we become more effective in our policies and procedures. We work really hard. We believe in diversity. We believe in it as a value. We believe it's made it stronger. People who've come into the league who are diverse have been very successful and made us better. And we just have to do a better job. We have to look, is there another thing that we can do to make sure we're attracting that best talent here and making our league inclusive? If I had the answer right now, I would give it to you. I would have implemented it. I think what we have to do is just continue and find and look and step back and say, we're not doing a good enough job here. We need to find...
I could cut it off because it doesn't really matter what else he said, because he never really said anything, to be honest. That's your commissioner, by the way, as you know, Roger Goodell. Now, he was speaking to Jim Trotter. Jim Trotter is a long-time NFL lifer. He's been in the NFL. He's been around the league for literally decades. He's been a reporter of the league for decades. Now, he's speaking more from the reporting side of it, but you can extend it to coaching. You can extend it to general managing. You can extend it to, like he said, the highest levels of football. Why don't they hire us? Why don't they want to hire us? And when I say us, I mean black and brown people. The Rooney Rule went into effect in 2003, including this most recent hiring cycle in the NFL. We're at a 21% rate. 21%. So for the history of the rule, more than 70% of the players are black, but 20% of the coaches are black or brown. And that includes this most recent hiring cycle. I don't think that's progress. They weren't hiring us before the Rooney Rule, and they're not hiring us after the Rooney Rule. Why do we have the Rooney Rule anyway? Why is it in place? The fact that we have to have a Rooney Rule shows that the NFL is inconsistent with what it talks about and what it preaches of. I watched NFL Honors last night. They had some great pieces. The pieces on Ryan Nassib and Carl Nassib and listen, the NFL can slap lipstick on a pig as much as they want. They can pretend that they support gays. They can pretend that they support that community, the LGBTQ plus community. They can pretend that they support minorities. But the proof is in the pudding. The parallels between Brian Flores' lawsuit against the NFL and Colin Kaepernick cannot be ignored. Now, if you want to ignore them, you can, but I already see the parallels. There's only one thing that are going to make you, the listeners,